to get to the path of entrepreneurship to really build wealth. Like your 9 to 5 is important, but really it's your 5. So those 8 hours each day, like obviously you want to eat, want to spend time with friends, family, work out, but you can also spend a couple hours diving into side hustles. So I got my first 2 vending machines while I was in the middle of my teaching career. There's so many ways you can start out for free. You can go and just show up to real estate events, connect.
Have you found like some of your Airbnbs from that? Or, yeah?
My Airbnb client. I found Airbnb clients and vending machine clients at that location, at that those meetups.
So how did you go from a teacher to owning 3 businesses before turning 30?
That's a good question.
Welcome to Built to Scale, the podcast where vision meets action. I'm your host, Quinn Schilz, founder of Master Roofing, and I'm here to pull back the curtain on building world-class teams, scaling companies, and turning bold ideas into unstoppable momentum. Let's get to work. Today's guest went from teaching high school Spanish to managing 35 Airbnbs, running a vending machine business, and mentoring real estate investors, all in just a few years. He's an athlete, an entrepreneur, a man of faith, and a total beast when it comes to building income streams that work while he sleeps. Billy Perez is here to break down how he scaled from 3 to 34 vacation homes, why vending machines print cash, and how he built a life of freedom through faith, hustle, and discipline. This episode is a playbook for anyone tied to a 9 to 5 to ready to take control. Let's dive right in. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
That was a great intro, man. Beast.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you, bro. So, what would you do if your side hustle turned into 35 Airbnbs in under a year?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Like to someone who's just starting out?
Yeah. So is that what you did?
Yeah. So essentially, I was teaching full time, and I just had like a couple listings that I was managing, and then it, out of nowhere, just kind of snowballed. You know, you get those first few clients, those first few leads, and I'm sure you know, building your own business, it can turn into something great, or just in just a couple of months, something big. So
how did you start? Like, how did you get into Airbnbs? And
yeah,
still coming up.
So how did you go from a teacher to owning 3 businesses before turning 30?
That's a good question.
SoCal homeowners, why pay $15,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 for a new roof when instead you can get a new roof for only less than $100 per month? Here at Master Roofing, we serve homeowners with high-quality roofs with no hefty upfront costs. So give your house the roof it deserves with 0 down and low monthly payments. Why wait? Click the link below to get you a roof you deserve for payments you can afford.
So in summer 2021, I bought an Airbnb in Phoenix. So I bought a small condo. It was already on Airbnb, so the turnkey aspect of it was attractive. I was like, okay, cool. I can get in for like $30,000 down to this Airbnb. And you know, back in 2021, it was really easy to buy real estate. It was low money down, very low interest rate. And so I was able to cash flow from day one, and that got me thinking. I'm like, I should do this again. So I got another Airbnb in Phoenix. You know, just the price point out there was so much cheaper than here in San Diego. And then before you know it, man, I had 3 that I owned under my management, my ownership. And then I was just like posting twice a month about my Airbnbs. I'm like, oh, this is what a crazy guest did. This is my, you know, how much money I made this month. And then people reached out and were like, hey, could you manage my Airbnb for me? You're doing your own for the last 2 years. Like, do you mind doing this? And by March 2024, I had like 7 or 8 properties under management while I was still working full time.
Okay. And
quit my job March 2024. And went all into entrepreneurship full time.
I love that, man.
Yeah,
That's
the,
awesome.
That's the quick spiel.
So why did you quit teaching to manage vending machines and Airbnbs full time?
The money was there for the management side of things, and then the vending machine, obviously, like getting those new clients is much harder. But the management clients, there's just so many more houses in San Diego than there are vending machine locations. So what I saw was a vision where if I could do what, you know, Patrick is doing, Patrick Switek, and other big Airbnb operators that have 100+ listings, I'm like, I could make a lot more money doing that than I am teaching. So, yeah, it's been incredible. And to think back, you know, 2 years ago, I was set on being a teacher for 20, 30 years to now, you know, what are my next goals? My next goals are to build a 8-figure company. And my next goals are to build, you know, I have all these different ideas now. It's just crazy what listening to a couple mentors and what listening to a couple good podcasts can really do.
Totally.
Change your mentality.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how did you go from a teacher to owning 3 businesses before turning 30?
I would say to those curious how you can go from a W-2 to owning a couple businesses is, and this is, just how I did it. I took my time. I didn't just like cut cold turkey and go into something. I was able to do the vending machines on the side while working full time.
Okay.
They say that like to get to the path of entrepreneurship to really build wealth, like your 9 to 5 is important, but really it's your 5 to 9. Like what are you doing after your work, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 5 to 9, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. So those 8 hours each day, like obviously you want to eat, you want to spend time with friends, family, work out, but you can also spend a couple hours diving into side hustles. So I got my first 2 vending machines while I was in the middle of my teaching career in February 2023. And right away, those already started making money. Like that's why I bought them, because they make money. So my advice is just to start like diving into little entrepreneurial tasks, little entrepreneurial opportunities without, going all in on one idea, because you don't know if it's going to work. And that's obviously different to what people do. People have done cut cold turkey, go straight into it. But for me, I liked dabbling in having a true side hustle where I was working 8 or 9 hours a week on one thing, doing the Airbnbs 5 or 6 hours a week, and then my full-time teaching job, which is about 30 hours a week, maybe 35 hours a week. And so I had a pretty sweet life for a couple of years being a teacher. I got summers off. I had good benefits. I had a job I enjoyed. But at the end of the day, it's like I want to build wealth. I want to create wealth for my future kids, for my grandkids, for me and my wife to be able to enjoy this life, to be able to bless others, to be able to not just be set on stuck in a set income, but to, think what would it look like to make $500,000 a year after tax? What would it look like to make $1 million? Actually have goals and dreams of financial freedom to where I could bless others significantly.
So did you coach volleyball before?
Yeah.
I have that. So is managing 34 properties harder than coaching 4 volleyball teams?
Still coming up.
To get to the path of entrepreneurship to really build wealth, like your 9 to 5 is important, but really it's your 5 to 9. So those 8 hours each day, like obviously you want to eat, you want to spend time with friends, family, work out, but you can also spend a couple hours diving into side hustles. So I got my first 2 vending machines while I was in the middle of my teaching career. No, I mean, coaching volleyball is 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. But it feels like it's like 40 hours a week. It's coaching high school boys is funny. They're like squirrely little spazzes, man. They're crazy. But it was a good experience. I coached for 5 years. Really? I still coached after I quit my teaching job at the same high school, which was cool and weird at times, but it was great.
Yeah,
I don't regret it at all.
So, what's the secret to scaling from 3 to 34 Airbnbs without burning out?
The secret to scaling is to do it in a way that isn't going to bankrupt you, right? You don't want to spend thousands of dollars on marketing if you just have 1 or 2 listings and you have a baby property management company, right? You want to start, there's so many ways you can start out for free. You can go and just show up to real estate events. Rich Sommers has the beers and deals every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of each month or something like that.
I didn't know that.
I would
I'm not taking advantage of the group.
You should come down to San Diego, man. It's amazing. It's just about an hour and a half drive from here.
Thanks for driving up, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem at all. I'm sorry I was a little late.
No worries.
Yeah, we're just doing stuff like that, doing easy stuff like that.
So what is that event? Like where you go, like what it's beers and what?
It's called Beers and Deals. It's Rich's what do you call it? Meetup. His real estate meetup he's been doing for like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And it turned into a huge place that's really well known in the San Diego real estate community.
Cool.
Like 200 or 300 people show up every time.
Oh, wow.
So I've gotten clients from there. I've gotten 2 or 3 clients from just connecting.
Have you found like some of your Airbnbs from that? Or yeah?
My Airbnb client. I found Airbnb clients and vending machine clients at that location, at that those meetups.
So how does it work exactly? Like with the Airbnb thing, like do you own all the properties or do you like sometimes? No. Oh, really?
No. So we just signed our 41st client this week.
Okay.
So we have 41 clients under management.
So you're a management company for Airbnb people who want to have a rental property and they're like, hey, we can make more money with Airbnb and then just rent it to somebody for 12 months.
Yep.
They hand it to you and you give them like the blueprint.
So
or you guys actually do it.
Yeah, so we do all the management. We're full service in-house. We do all the accounting, all the guest communication, the cleaning, the maintenance, any
But
scheduling.
you don't do all that yourself, right? You have a whole team.
No, I have a team. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have a team. I have people that work for me, and then I have vendors, is what we call them.
Nice.
So people that have their own business that I pay
cool.
to do the cleaning, maintenance, electrical, plumbing, handyman stuff. So it's a great.
So you've
little
built
team.
like a whole process and like team, and that so
Yeah.
it's kind of moving. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for liability when people have their own LLC, their own company,
Yeah.
and I pay them to do stuff. And then I do have my own employees. 2 are here in the States, and then 2 are overseas handling all of our communication.
How does a Christian entrepreneur juggle rentals, vending machines, and mentorship?
I mean, God is at the center of it all, and this is, I believe that the Lord gave me a gift, and that it's so much more than just having that 9 to 5, coming home and being okay with that. I believe that God gave me a gift to be able to be multifaceted, multi-talented, and I've always kind of joked around that I'm like the jack of all trades, but I'm not really the master of any. Like I'm not like a pro level at a lot of things, but I'm really just I could do a whole bunch of stuff, man. I grew up playing classical violin.
Wow.
I can speak Spanish. I can play volleyball, basketball, golf. I can manage 41 different properties from my phone. I can do a whole lot of different stuff. But I also believe that the Lord gave me those gifts for a reason, and the reason being to bless my family, to bless others, and to bring glory to God and to the church and to everything that I believe in. So, how do I do it? I have amazing support. I have an amazing wife who supports me. We've just celebrated 3 years 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been crazy. And I just have amazing. Yeah, my employees are amazing, and the team I have, they're not my employees, but they're like my contracted vendors. They're amazing. My clients are amazing, of course. I mean, they're the ones who pay my bills. So managing their properties has been a huge blessing.
So if you lost everything today, could you build a 7-figure business from scratch?
Yeah. I have so many ideas, but it's just like in the words of Alex Hormozy, I can't get distracted, and I can't have like the spazzy like ADHD brain that I as a student growing up I always had, and I still do today, where I'm like, oh, I should start a home services company where I go and do I have all these ideas. I'm sure
I think
you can
every
relate.
entrepreneur has some kind of like ADD, and like it's like
Yeah.
you can't be so formal. It's like you always want to do something else, but it's like if you really want to build it big, right, you have to just stay focused on the thing that you're good at. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to build this. I want to build this to a 7-figure, 8-figure business for sure. And so it's just going to take time. It's going to probably take another year or so to hit that 7-figure goal. But if I lost everything, I could start from scratch. I could do it all again.
Okay, so what was the exact moment you decided that you're gonna leave teaching and go all in on this entrepreneurship?
I think when I realized that the 3 properties that I owned were paying me more on Airbnb than my teaching salary was, and it got me thinking, if I manage other people's properties that are also making $100,000 a year, I take 20% of those $100,000 a year properties. I just need 10 properties to make X amount of money, right? So the easy napkin math just made more sense. And it's not all about money, of course, but money can bless people. Money can bring happiness, can bring a lot of comfort. And for me, I was like, I'm ready to see what I can do. It was more of just a chance. I don't have kids. At the time, I was 27 or 26, and I was like, let's see what happens if I just go all in on this. So here we are today, and I haven't given up, haven't quit, and at 41 properties, we're doing okay.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
How did your experience as a teacher help you manage and scale multiple businesses?
Oh, I mean, if I can convince a classroom full of 8th graders to learn the past tense of Spanish and encourage them and motivate them, I can convince people to let me manage their homes. I believe that my ability to do sales is rooted from the ability to teach, to get people onto my page, to help people understand what I understand. And doing that with my clients has been a huge benefit, convincing them, because not everyone knows about Airbnb. Not everyone knows about vacation rentals and the power that is. And I have like nine clients now that are midterm rental clients. So the midterm is the 30-day minimum. I've
What is that? What do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean?
So a lot of people like to leave their homes furnished, but they're either not allowed to Airbnb them or they don't want to. So I put those properties on the same platforms that I have my short-term rental business, except I rent them out at a 30-day or more minimum rental period. So they're still able to collect above market rents for a temporary client. So people that are
Is it
traveling.
like a vacation home style stuff? Like, or
It's still vacation
anything?
home style.
Okay.
It's mostly condos where they have HOAs that don't allow it.
Got it.
But these clients will usually service like.
Can you get around that? Like, or is it
HOAs are pretty powerful, man.
really?
I think
They'll fine you. Or
HOAs are like the most messed up, like aggressive form of like community management. I can't believe that people put up with it. Like our HOA and the HOA I grew up in, it's like $200 a month, and we don't have any pool or gym or anything like that. They just come trim our hedges, and they would fine my parents growing up for having a basketball hoop in the street. It's like, who are these grumpy old people that volunteered to be to bitch and
president
moan
of the
about?
HOA.
Yeah, it's insane. yeah, you know the president of the HOA memes.
You know you've
where it's
made
like,
it when you're the president of the HOA,
yeah,
right?
dude, it's insane. It's such a power.
We deal with it all the time too, like with when we're doing projects and stuff. Some a lot of communities have HOAs, or it's a headache. It's always
insane.
Unnecessary stuff.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, you should see the stack of paperwork sometimes we have to fill out just to change a roof with the same material. Like you're not even changing anything, and it's crazy.
It's insane.
So what were your biggest roadblocks, like when you went from just 3 to 34 properties, and like how did you solve them?
I think the biggest roadblock was my time.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Because at like 17 or 18 properties under management, I was stepping away from weddings. I was up at night worrying and wondering if someone's going to get locked out. I was just stressed constantly about having to be on and ready to go.
For sure.
So October 2024, I finally hired 2 full-time assistants from the Philippines, and they kind of like saved me in a sense, because I was getting burned out pretty quickly.
How does that work? Because I've never had a VA, but I've heard super great things about it. So I'm just like, how's your experience been with that?
They're awesome.
Is it like just having like full-time employee, just remote pretty much?
Yeah, it's like having full-time remote employees that you can pay at a fraction what you'd pay here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So because the US dollar is so powerful, so in the Philippines, a livable wage there is like $4, $5 an hour.
Wow.
So I
paid a quarter of what
I paid them $6.
Yeah.
And so they're stoked on $6 an hour, and that's what they asked for. And
yeah.
It's a great working relationship. They show up when I need them to. They take care of phone calls. They schedule maintenance. They take care of cleaning issues. They do it all.
So do you have like a management software, like a CRM, or like a calendar you guys share or something where they're able to like give you updates on what they're doing, or is it almost like they already know what to do at this point?
We do everything through Slack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we don't really have a CRM or anything like that. All our updates go through Slack, and then everything I need to know is communicated through there.
I love that.
Yeah.
So building a team was like the biggest thing, starting to have other people help you release your time.
Yeah, bringing them on was huge. I then brought on my sister, who was a former teacher as well. She was a math teacher and a double major from USC, and she's a couple years younger than me, and I was able to convince her to come work for me and do all my accounting, my statements, just be my behind the scenes person. That was great. She's great at Excel and great at building systems and operations. And so she's like my right-hand man, my right-hand woman. And she's been very, very, very beneficial to my business and has helped grow. She just dabbled into sales now last month. So she's booking calls and booking meetups with potential new clients.
Nice.
Which is huge. So I told her, I'm like, I'll give you some commission. Let's go. Like, let's start hitting the phones. And so, because my business grows so organically now, I hop on calls all the time because people are asking for me to manage their properties. So for her, I'm like, I want you to be up in LA in Orange County. That's where she lives. I'm like, start calling people up here. Let's get some clients up in Orange County and LA.
We have such a huge market living out here in California. It's like between like, Ventura County down to San Diego, you have like, I don't know how many, but over 50 million people. So it's like there's so much opportunity. You can build, a 8-figure business if you just put in the work and do it, right? It's 100% possible.
Southern California is a great place to grow a business.
Totally. So between like vending and Airbnbs, which stream brings in more passive income and why?
The Airbnb game brings in more passive income. It's easier to get clients. It's quicker. Vending machines take a long time. you have to get the building manager or the property management on for those larger commercial buildings to agree to put a vending machine in their space. It has to look good. It can't be some junky old machine. So my vending machine business has grown very slowly. And
Do you still doing that? Yeah.
we still have it. We have 5 locations now.
So how does it work? You have you get the machine, you buy the machine, or you figure out a way to get the machine, right? And then once you have the machine, like you have to find a place to put it where there's traffic, so in a business or something, and then somebody needs to constantly refill it, and then you make a profit on it. Is that the steps, or yeah?
Pretty simple. It's pretty boring. It's a boring business.
Boring businesses are the best businesses.
Yeah.
They make the most money, right?
Yeah, I mean it makes good money. I'm looking to sell the portfolio right now. I'm talking to a couple buyers about it, just because it's not something I'm super interested in right now. So
Cool.
It's okay.
So what does a typical week look like when managing 34 rentals and mentoring students?
Yeah, my mentees. So my week changes every week, and that's what I love about what I do is that it's not the same. I don't have the same schedule like I used to, and so Tuesdays are like my mastermind days. I have 4 different hour-long Zoom calls with the different groups that I've paid to be a part of, that I paid for last summer. And so my weeks are just different. Like Mondays, a lot of admin stuff. Tuesdays are all my meetings. Wednesdays, I go to the properties a lot down in San Diego, and I just make my presence known. I go check in on cleaners, etc. Thursday, Friday, it could be anything. It's meeting with new clients. It's a lot of potential new clients like to meet on Thursdays or Fridays for whatever reason. So go inspect new properties that we could potentially manage. Do some vending machine stuff too. It's just, I love, my schedule just changes so much. It's great. I love it. It's different every day. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if someone handed you $10,000 today, how would you invest it in your business model?
That's a good question. How would I invest it into what I'm doing with the vacation rentals? Probably would pay for more SEO, better visibility. I'm getting those leads for the first time ever in the last 2 months where people are calling me. So I'm like, yeah, let's get more of those. I think it would pay for itself in 1 or 2 phone calls for sure.
How has your faith influenced the way you run your business?
Just wanting to be as honest and open as possible, and to love these homes like my own, and to treat others the way that the Lord would treat them, and to just have the utmost respect and kindness towards people. You know, when trying to discipline an employee, instead of yelling at them, let's find a way to build them up and to be constructive and to be encouraging rather than tear someone down and stuff. So you'll never see me yell at anyone that works for me or call them an idiot or anything like that. I can think those things, but I very rarely let it out and just try and show love and grace.
I love that. What mental shift was necessary to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like a CEO?
The mental shift occurred when I hired my sister and the 2 VAs for sure. I was able to just focus on the CEO part of things, growing the company, talking to the clients that helped me build it. And so once those jobs were given and I hired them, I was able to attend more conferences and to be able to focus on learning and growing as opposed to working in the business. I was now able to work on the business and help build it up, SOPs, all that good stuff.
That makes such a big difference, doesn't it? When you start like documenting your systems and like showing people how they can do it. It's like, have you read the book by Dan Martell, like Buy Back Your Time?
No, but
a lot of the principles you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's in that book. It's a good book. You should read it.
I've heard of Dan Martell. I'm reading Friction right now.
Okay.
And then is that what it's called?
Traction.
Traction.
Gino Wickman, right?
Yeah.
We actually just implemented the EOS
cool.
model into our business. So we're doing like the level 10 meetings and
then I'm reading the EOS book as well right now.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited to.
A lot of people have told me that's the best book when it comes to business. Traction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, Traction, not Friction.
Yeah.
Traction. Yeah, it's good. I've read like half of it so far. I'm
Nice.
a slow reader for whatever reason. I just get distracted.
Yeah, I'm like you talked about, like, you know, distraction earlier. So every time I have like a stack of books that like I've started, and then like I get a new book that I'm interested in, I start it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get in the discipline now of like just finish this one book before I move on to the next one. You
I
know,
listen to a lot of podcasts, so I should probably just listen to the audiobook version of these books I want to listen to.
When I used to drive around all the time doing the sales for my roofing company, I would just play audiobooks because I'm in the car 3-4 hours a day. So it would just be like I'm going to take this time as an education, you know? Yeah, I like that. It's good. Awesome. What's the number one mistake most people make when launching a short-term rental?
When launching just their own short-term rental.
Yeah, like if somebody goes out, like what do you find like is the biggest mistakes, like when you take on these clients or people that, you know, they try to do it themselves?
I think in the olden days, like 3 or 4 years ago, you could just launch an Airbnb and not really put a whole lot of effort into it. And so I think that what people make the mistake of nowadays is hearing about their friends and whoever else's success from 2021, 2022, and thinking that that same blueprint will work now. And so they just launch their house with some cute furniture, and that's about it, right? Their backyard has nothing to offer the guests. They don't have the pool. They don't have the hot tub. They don't have the sauna. They don't got the weights. They don't have any bikes, right? It's just a regular home to rent. Airbnb is such an attraction now for the lifestyle and for, you know, we're the millennials and Gen Z, we are all about posting our experiences, right? That's why restaurants like Red Lobster and Olive Tree are going out of business, is because people want to go to the gastropub. They want to go to like the cool, like sexy, fun restaurant that does cool stuff with their cocktails and all that stuff, right?
Get the Instagram picture. People
want to Instagram their Airbnbs. They don't want to book something that they could just get at a hotel, right? So 8 friends going to an Airbnb, it better have the ping pong table, the pool table, the sauna, the dartboard, the arcade games, right? So the Airbnb that we just launched that I purchased with my sister in January, we made a game room out of the garage. Wow. It's just a regular garage. And so we epoxied the floor. We put an air conditioner in there, and we got the cold plunge sauna, some weights. We got a basketball hoop game. We put a pool table, ping pong table combo. We put a flat screen in there. We put a dartboard. You sell the lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, that's why we found so much success right away in Palm Springs, in a market that's saturated and people are selling their homes like crazy out there. They're getting rid of their Airbnbs because they're like, oh, I'm not finding any success. I'm like, yeah, because you just have a pool. Yeah. Everyone has a pool in Palm Springs.
Yeah. What else are you showing that's going to like entice them? Like, we have a pool table and a sauna and a cold plunge.
Yeah, we have. I mean, no one in our market has all of that. So I was like, let's just be the most unique. Let's be different.
What's the investment to like put that garage together?
It's probably like $30K.
And how quick will you guys get that back?
A year, maybe.
Okay.
We launched after high season was over, after Coachella.
Okay.
So, like April 15th. So like.
But after a year, you're just profiting now, right?
Yeah, that's the hope. I mean, at the end of the day, I told them, I'm like, we don't make any, because they're baby investors. I've been doing this for a while. I'm like, if we don't make any money, at the end of the day, you still own an asset. We're still building equity by paying off the mortgage. You can write it off. It's okay. If we get close to breaking even, I will consider this a success. I was like, if we can profit $1,000 a month at the end of the year, if you have $12,000 of profit in your pocket, consider that a win, because most people do not make any money right now on brand new Airbnbs.
So the pitch isn't like, hey, we're doing this to get like passive income of $5,000-$10,000 a month or something. That's not the idea at all. But hey, you're owning a real asset. You're able to build equity, and you're able to get you get the same depreciation like as a normal rental property with Airbnb. Same thing, right? And you get like business write-offs, right? Expense write-offs.
They'll qualify for a cost segregation study too, because they materially participated in their property. And so cost seg for the short-term rental universe, you can get a ton of you can get 28 and a half years of depreciation forced into one tax season, which is amazing.
So year one, you can write off the 28 years of depreciation.
Oh yeah. So for most properties in California, that's close to $100,000. It's great.
It's amazing.
So I did 2 years ago, and I just now, I was still getting tax breaks from it for two tax seasons.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was insane.
So now that you said that, I'm actually super curious. So I was looking at buying a property in Idaho, like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And the dude was like telling me you got to do a cost segregation. I had a bad CPA before, and she was like telling me you can only do that on commercial, and I was like, no, for sure you can do a cost seg on because with commercial it's like 39 years, right? Or 40 years or something.
Not sure.
And residential, you're saying 28 and a half, right?
Yeah, a lot of CPAs just don't know.
So they take whatever is not like whatever is whatever you can depreciate in the property, like fixtures, different things, right? In the process, and then they'll say like, okay, over this amount of time, these are going to decrease by this amount, and then you can take the bonus the whole amount of that, and then for people who don't know, right, and then take that whole amount down, and now you have this write off on your, if it's $100,000 now and you owe $100,000 in taxes, you have a write off of $100,000, so you're going to pay zero, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's like the skinny of it. Yeah, the basic.
That's the
nuts
skinny
and
of
bolts
it.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, cool. What tools, systems, or tech helped you scale elevate vacation homes fast?
What tools and tech? I mean, not
Or
like,
systems?
yeah, I would say just having a good property management software is so important because you're able to balance all of the online travel agencies. So having a good software that can connect everything, like all your Airbnb, your VRBO, your Booking.com, your smart locks, everything like that. A good property management software, we use a really solid one, is really helpful. So that definitely helped me scale.
How do you decide if a property will make a great vacation rental?
We have really good software, AirDNA, it's what it's called. You can plug in an address and it gives you a pretty good idea of what you'll make. But then you can just kind of tell, like, if it's a beautifully upgraded, newer home that has good amenities, it's going to make good money. And it has to be in the right area. It's got to be in Southern California.
Okay, so what's your advice to someone who feels like they don't have time to start a business?
What are you doing during your 5 to 9s, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.? If it's just sleeping and hanging out, then yeah, it's going to be hard for you. But if you are someone, because I know a couple guys that have fantastic W-2s, they make like $300,000 a year, and they wake up at 5:30, 6 a.m. and I'm like, what are you doing for 4 hours? Like, what could you be doing? What could you do? And a lot of them like to read and meditate and go to the gym and stuff. I'm like, that's awesome. That's really great. So if you want to become, and if they've expressed like, oh, I'd be really interested in starting a business with you. And that's what's interesting about becoming an entrepreneur. You realize like people come to you now for advice on how to do what I'm doing. And they come to you for money advice. Like, oh, should I buy a short-term rental? I'm like, I don't know. Where are you going to buy it? Like, I have no idea. Or they're like, we should start a business together. Like, or do you want to invest in this? People just also assume that you have a ton of money because you can start your own business. I'm like, yeah, usually it's the opposite. But first 2 years at least, most businesses don't make any money. So, yeah, my advice would be to figure out where you're valuing your time and how you're spending your 5 to 9s.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I think you gave a lot of great advice, and you're going to help a lot of people with just getting started, right? It's just about taking the first step and
just try something. Try something on the side. Yeah, why not?
Well, thanks for tuning in to Built to Scale. If you've got value from today's episode, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review, or share this with someone building something great. Your support helps the show and makes it easier for me to bring on even bigger names and incredible guests. So thank you. Follow me at Quinn Vincent on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok for behind the scenes insights and momentum to fuel your journey. Until next time, keep building, keep believing, and remember, legacy isn't given, it's built.